Previously on, did I get what I paid for?
Oh, yeah. By the way, remember those schematics future me accidentally left behind?
Yeah.
Well, Ralph and I took a look at them. He got in touch with my Donatello action figure. Turns out there were completed versions of stuff he was already working on. Since we sped up his research by about 5 years, he decided to make two of the Who's-McGigs and give you one.
Right, but why do we need to crack time travel?
Because if we don't, then I can never go back in time and correct the mistake I made in planned matter space. Who are you?
Xilo, sixth-dimensional winter elf in training. I'm supposed to make sure that you don't make any Star Trek jokes in the next 3 episodes.
Look, I see what's in it for you, but what about me? What do I get?
For each episode you can accomplish this, you get one wish. But if you fail, even once, I will make you watch the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. Grr.
What's the matter, Xilo?
I really thought with calm meaning in this movie, you'd fail.
You want me to fail?
Kinda. Granting wishes isn't easy, you know.
Well, you can always get me next time. So, if I can make it through Mystery Alaska without referencing you know what, then I can do anything.
Jess? Our next episode is Galaxy Quest.
Okay, Donatello. Update on the time travel problem. It's proving a tough nut to crack. I've managed to get a primitive machine capable of 3-minute jumps in either direction, but I get the feeling that's not what you need.
Do I have to watch Galaxy Quest?
Yep. Not delivering the movie you promised just confuses people.
And you promised some of these movies to your crew almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, but look at these other holdovers. Certainly they'd be just as happy with The Black Hole or The Blues Brothers. I know, I could finally do Manos. They've been begging for it.
Nah, Torgo just started a power nap. He won't wake up till at least September. Shh, Torgo is napping.
And it, what at all? But he dark. So, but really, why Galaxy Quest?
2 people requested it.
Really?
Not exactly. Talia was the only one who said Galaxy Quest per se, but Amir, one of the people who pays you, said he wanted you to do a movie that makes fun of your religion.
How does Galaxy Quest make fun of Jess's religion?
I invoke International Internet Reviewers Guild Charter, Section 28, Subsection 14.
Critics shooting videos in the bathroom must shut off the camera before using the facilities?
No, the one against self-recrimination.
You mean Article 29, Subsection 14. Wait, are you saying Star Trek is your...
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Do you look to Star Trek for moral guidance?
No comment.
Do you own any Star Trek books?
No comment.
Do you have any sort of rituals involving the show?
He tries to watch at least one episode every September 6th for some reason. He gets DVDs every Christmas and birthday and binge watches 2 to 4 episodes per day for at least a week.
In high school, he got a comm badge and pinned it to his jean jacket.
No, I didn't.
Oh, really? Then what's this?
My comm badge?
Can you just get started? Once this is over, I gotta go back to the office and file paperwork. Then Ralph and I have reservations at Randy's Ice Rink in Corndog Kingdom.
What? Ralph, you sly dog.
What makes you think he asked me out?
Well, well, Jess, little help here?
Our story begins with a dead-on parody of a late 70s, early 80s sci-fi show, because this movie is a love letter to the original Battlestar Galactica. Now allow me to introduce the crew. Tim Allen plays Captain Taggart, the leader of our space crew. Alan Rickman plays Dr. Lazarus, the resident alien and medic. Then you have Tony Shalhoub as the ambiguously foreign guy. A bit like...
Tony Shalhoub.
No, his parents were Lebanese, but he's from Wisconsin. Don't let those weird cheese hats fool you. That's not another country. Sigourney Weaver plays Tawny Madison, the communications officer. This wannabe Webster is the pilot because this show is the future by way of 1965. They're being attacked by aliens. Captain Taggart orders them to activate some sort of MacGuffin called the Omega-13. Then To Be Continued comes up. Flash forward to a panel where a zillion fans stare in awe as Justin Hammer tells them they've just seen the only episode of Galaxy Quest that does not run in syndication. They're the only people to have seen it in almost 20 years. He goes on to explain that while it was shot as a season finale, the network lost faith in the show and canceled it. They didn't play it in reruns because they didn't want to get angry letters from fans forever because they didn't finish the saga. He calls them in for their panel. They're all waiting for him. Alexander Dane, aka Alan Rickman, Gwen DeMarco, aka Sigourney Weaver, Fred Kwan, aka Adrian Monk, and Tommy Weber, all grown up, aka Daryl Mitchell. They're all there. Well, all of them but Jason Nesmith, aka Tim Allen. His former castmates are pissed off at him. He does this kind of shit at every convention. He's an egotistical blowhard who thinks he was the be-all, end-all of the show. You know, a bit like the guy who played the captain on Gene Roddenberry's hit show,
I gotcha.
Andromeda.
Disappointed.
Alan Rickman complains that he's a classically trained, well-respected actor who was offered positions at some of the most renowned theater companies in the world. Then he did this show for 5 years and he hasn't gotten a non-sci-fi acting gig in 15 years. A bit like...
I got you this time.
John Pertwee. Dana Barrett reminds him that at least he wasn't the eye candy whose job it was to repeat the computer. Tim the Toolman Taylor shows up and says, let's get this panel started. They all take their seats. Apart from Hans Gruber, who just wants to get the hell out of there. They thought Beeblebrox introduces them and thankfully skips the Q&A. Everyone goes right to the autograph line. He reminds everyone that he's not just the MC, he's an actor and stuntman. He was crewman number 5 in Galaxy Quest episode 81. He sets up his own autograph line and gets fewer visitors than a Starbucks in Salt Lake City. Fans are waiting in the autograph line and asking all sorts of questions. The Macintosh guy is wanting to know how to resolve a whole bunch of technical issues that crop up throughout the show, especially involving the reactor room. They try to politely blow him off. This other group of cosplayers show up and say they need the crew's help. Tim Allen says that they have to go through his agent and get a limo and a bag of M&Ms with all the brown ones removed. You know the deal. Once they're gone, he goes back to hitting on Sigourney Weaver. She rolls her eyes and he takes the hint. He goes to the bathroom. He's sitting on the john and he overhears these guys mocking him. He didn't realize his castmates hated him until he heard it from them. He goes back to the signing, and that continuity cop is still there asking questions. Nesmith tells him to shut the f up. Everyone stares at him, and he storms off. They all go back home. Ellen Ripley calls Professor Snape and asks, "What's up with Nesmith?" Alan Rickman says, "Well, you know what he can be like." She says, "Yeah, I'm used to him treating us like fish, but he's great with fans." Meanwhile, Nesmith is getting plastered. When he wakes up, those weird cosplayers are in his backyard. He lets them in. They introduce themselves as Mathazar, Teb, Lalani, and Dwight. They say they're from space. Their planet is under attack. They've seen the historical documents. They know he's the man for the job. He says, fine, just let me get dressed. They start worshiping him like a god. Once he's good and ready, he gets into the limo. He's still a little hungover, so he starts taking a nap, but he claims he's listening. While he's getting a few Z's, the limo turns into a spacecraft and blasts off. When he wakes up, he says, "Where the hell am I?" One of the aliens, Mathazar, says, "We built a duplicate of your ship. It was the only way we could defend ourselves from Ceres. Help us, Captain Taggart. You're our only hope." Nesmith says, "Will you please just tell me what's going on?" Then this bug guy comes on the screen. He says unless they give him the Omega-13, he's going to murder everyone on the ship. Nesmith gives a few bullshit orders to attack, and then says he has to be downtown in about an hour. The aliens look confused, so they depolarize the window and reveal they're actually in space. Then they wrap him in saran wrap and send him back to Earth. Nesmith goes into sensory overload. You know, the kind of thing where you'd expect to see, I don't know,
Valkyrie's bowling while Kenny Rogers's "I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in" starts blaring.
He wakes up in his backyard and drives off to his gig. It turns out he and the rest of the cast were hired to cut the ribbon at the grand opening of a Best Buy. Only they had to do it without him. He rushes to the scene and runs into Fanboy, who's carrying a model of the comm devices from the show. During the confusion, they both drop their comms, and we get the classic mix-up trope. He tries to explain to the others why he was late, but Ripley, Jack Jeeves, Hans Gruber, and the increasingly irrelevant black guy all stare at him like he's Alex Jones ranting about gay frogs again. Those alien cosplayers show up and say they need the entire crew's help. They say no and hop into the minivan to get back to the convention. Then Adrian Monk asks, "Wait, did we just turn down a paying gig?" So they get out and wrap themselves up like sandwiches to head to outer space. Even Sam Rockwell decides to come along because why the hell not? Fred hesitates when he sees their means of conveyance, but he's eventually persuaded to come along. Once they arrive, Nesmith, DeMarco, Dane, Weber, and Guy are shocked to see Lovecraftian monsters waiting for them. The aliens say, sorry, we were so excited that we forgot to turn on our image inducers." Once they kick in, Fred arrives. The crew start treating the cast like gods. Even Rockwell for some reason. Though, considering what we later learn about Thermian beliefs, they probably should, because they'd have to assume that he rose from the dead. The Thermians tell them that everything on the ship is modeled after the one from the historical records, so it should be familiar to them. But just to be sure, they should do a deck-by-deck inspection inside and out. Once that's done, they can negotiate peace with the bug people. When Alex and Tommy try to tell Nesmith that This is a very bad idea. Nesmith is like, are you kidding? I kicked this guy's ass last time. Besides, it's not like we could do any worse than the Thermians. They head to the bridge. Mathazar tells them to take their stations, so the cast sits. Then he tells them that some of the crew would like to be on the bridge for the historic return of their Lord and Savior. Nesmith tells Captain Cool to begin procedure to disembark.
Something about this seems very familiar.
Since you weren't online that time I tried to get my learner's permit and he crashes into the sides of Space Dock, I think you're remembering an episode of Red Dwarf. Then at dinner time, Nesmith says everything tastes great. Mathazar says we checked with the computer to make sure that everything met the dietary needs of your homeworlds, which is fine for everyone apart from Dane. He seems to have gotten Kate Captcha's doggy bag from Temple of Doom. But they don't have time for chit-chat. If the Thermians don't talk business, they can't write this dinner off on their taxes. So they explain the deal. The head bug guy, Ceres, wants the Omega-13. Gwen asks why, what does it do? The Thermians say, we were hoping you could tell us. The cast says, sorry, we don't know. Nesmith asks, how does Ceres even know about the Omega-13? Mathazar says, our previous captain's willpower, well, it wasn't exactly Green Lantern material. They're like, previous captain? Mathazar says, yeah, did I forget to mention that? And then proceeds to play the torture tape. Gwen, Dane, Fred, Tommy, and Guy all say they want to go home. Nesmith says at this point we have a moral obligation. Mathazar says you can't go home even if you want to. With Ceres' ship so close, he'd just blow up their transport pods. Simple as that. They're called to the bridge. Ceres is on the line. He says, I still plan on killing everyone unless you give me the Omega-13. Nesmith says, we don't have one. Ceres calls bullshit. Tim says, fine, we've got it, but if you want free shipping, you're gonna have to join Amazon Prime. Then he gives Gwen the finger across the throat signal to cut the line. He then proceeds to insult Ceres, his mother, and reveal their whole plan. Then he tells Ripley to open the line. She says, I forgot to hang up. Oops. Rockwell tells them his board has a little red thing heading toward the big green thing. But if everything on the bridge is modeled like on the show, the green thing is us, so Nesmith says, they're shooting at us, you idiot. So he orders Tommy to get them the hell out of there. They go into hyperspace, but it's not designed for long-term bursts, and the ship starts feeling like a Star Wars nerd when you bring up The Last Jedi. At first, the bad guys follow them, until they get to this nebula. Ceres orders his ship to stop and wait, and laughs. There's a good reason for this. The nebula disguises a minefield, which are magnetized for maximum efficiency. So the ship is blasted to hell. Once they're clear, they take an inventory of all ship systems still functioning and how many crew members are still alive. Everything seems all well and good and easily repaired, except for the beryllium sphere, which happens to be the MacGuffin which powers the whole fucking ship. The Thermians feel they've let the Galaxy Quest crew down because they've seen them come back from far worse. Since they're complete failures, they won't make it to the afterlife, let alone endless syndication. The cast is like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're the bravest people we've ever met. We're not space officers, we're actors. The Thermians look confused. Nesmith tries to explain the idea of fiction, myth, and religion to them, but they don't get it. Have you ever seen that movie, The Invention of Lying? Imagine if those people had made it into space and you'd get the Thermians. The Thermians laugh. They understand deceit, sorta. It's something only Ceres does. Our heroes aren't Ceres, ergo the show can't be lies. Nesmith is about to explain when Fred calls down from engineering. He says the sensors detect a planet with a beryllium sphere on it. They can make it there if they reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. Meanwhile, a crewman is bothering Metatron. He says that he learned medicine because of what he saw watching Galaxy Quest. Not only that, he wants to know more about how to use Lazarus's alien superpowers. Dane says, just don't. The crewman says, yeah, you're right, that is sorta cultural appropriation. The crew board a shuttle. The aliens wish them luck. Guy comes along, reasoning that, as the expendable guy, he's likely to die if given bridge duty. Then again, the expendable guys often die on the planet, so he wants to go back. They land on planet Utah. Rockwell's like, wait, don't open the door, alien planet, hello, can we even breathe? Shaloub says, we'd better be able to, I just opened the hatch. Everyone continues bickering until they come across this mining platform. They find these little baby aliens. They look so cute and harmless. Then everyone starts wondering, why would there be babies there? Dane and Fred give us this Abbott and Costello routine about the difference between miners and miners. One approaches the aliens and discovers they're more voracious than the Cinnamon Toast Crunch squares. They discuss what to do. Unfortunately, all their plans come from old Galaxy Quest episodes. Someone suggests they do that trick from episode 81. Rockwell says, what? Are you crazy? That's the plan that got me, crewman number 5 killed. Remember? So they settle on the old, put 2 guys on lookout, everyone else goes in to get it approach. The alien kids turn their attention toward the crew. They head back to the shuttle and get the hell out of Dodge so fast that they leave Nesmith behind. They debate whether or not they should go after him when they notice the kids seem full. Nesmith comes to and now Pumbaa wants to wrestle him. The alien kids start chanting, go rig knock, go rig knock. And Tim wants to run to the fence and ask Wilson the best way to beat up a lizard pig. Meanwhile, the crew makes it back to the ship. They get a call from Nesmith telling them what's going on. They decide to extract him with their matter transit device. Only it's never been tested, so Fred decides to use it on Piglet first. He comes up and he's a little too inside out for such a small animal. And it looks like his guts were packed with Diet Coke and Mentos. Nesmith says, don't try that on me until you figure out what you did wrong. The alien kids are still chanting, go rig knock, go rig knock. Sigourney says that the computer says that go rig knock means rock. Maybe that wasn't Piggy's name. Nesmith says, you think? And then the rocks around him start flying and taking the form of that ever-loving, blue-eyed idol of millions, Benjamin J. Grimm. And according to the watch I'm not wearing, it's half-past clobbering time. Nesmith tries to run and in the chaos rips off his shirt. Meanwhile, on the ship, Monk is under stress. They tell him it's now or never. Then Lilani walks in, and he wants to impress her. You know, that reminds me of that time in high school when a girl I liked walked by, so I let my friend blindfold me and tie me up with a jump rope so I could show her my, Houdini impression. Only somehow he succeeds without getting rope burn on his thumb. As soon as he teleports in, Nesmith kisses Gwen and then puts on a new uniform. Then he says, all right, we've got everything. Let's get this ship fixed up and you guys can go home. The technician says, to our dead planet? Nesmith says, oh, yeah, right. I forgot about that. They call up to the bridge to let them know they're back and they get no response. So they go up there and find Saras has taken over the ship. He's torturing Mathazar for information about the Omega-13. Nesmith says nobody knows anything about it. Saras doesn't believe him, and the goons grab Gwen. Nesmith explains nobody knows anything about it because he's not a space commander. Saras looks confused, but then Nesmith orders Gwen to play the historical documents. So she orders the computer to do it. When all that comes up is a rerun of Captain Power, Saras just laughs and says, you've done far more damage than I ever could. Kudos! So our heroes are forced to tell the truth. Again. Only the Thermians don't get it. Saras says, explain it like you would Santa Claus to a child. Nesmith says, dude, I am Santa. Saras replies, you know what I mean. So Nesmith explains about props, sets, the acting profession, and how, unlike Thermians, humans have a need for story, myth, legend, and all that Joseph Campbell bullshit. After seeing Nesmith demoralized and the Thermians' hopes destroyed, Saras decides he's going to overload the reactor and blow up the ship. Nesmith says, come on, these people are expecting a big villain trap. Can't you honor a formidable opponent enough to give them that much? Saras says, great idea, I'll put them all in an airlock, open the hatches very slowly, blowing them out into space, and then I'll blow up the ship. The bugs drag them down to one of the cargo holds. Alan Rickman tosses an insult Tim Allen's way. Nesmith says that he's acting like a kind of jackass like he did in the particular episode of Galaxy Quest. Snape just nods. They start duking it out, but only long enough for Dane to knock Nesmith into a crowbar. He grabs it and they turn the tables on the bugs. Then Master Splinter pulls a lever and opens a hatch which blows the bugs out into the cold abyss of space. Elsewhere on the ship, the bugs have started to do the same thing to the Thermians. So the gang take the weapons the bugs left behind and begin planning to retake the ship. Not knowing this all went down, Saras decides to leave before the big boom. The gang splits up. Gwen and Nesmith head to the reactor. Guy, Monk, and Lalani go free the rest of the crew. Tommy goes to the bridge because he's the only one who knows how to fly the thing. Gwen reminds Nesmith of a teeny tiny little problem. Neither of them know how to turn off a reactor. Nesmith gets out his space cell phone and says, yeah, but Captain Pedantic does. Bourne is getting ready for school at Stuckyville High when he hears the chime go off. Nesmith says, kid, it's the captain. I need your help. The kid says, look, I know it's just a show. It's just that I want my science fiction to be consistent is all. Nesmith says, remember that stuff I said about it being fake? Well, how's that? It's true, but I'm a little rusty, so can you give me a hand? Alan Rickman finds the crewman from before. He asks, wait a minute, why aren't you in the cell with the others? The ensign says, because I studied medicine and your people's superpowers. Remember? Dane moans, oh yeah, I forgot about that. The Mac guy gives Gwen and Nesmith a step-by-step walkthrough to the reactor room. He reaches a point where he has to call his friend Kyle because his own schematics are incomplete. He asks if they're willing to stay on hold for a minute, which is just long enough for the bugs to realize our heroes are roaming the ship and they should start hunting them down. Oops. Justin Long calls back and says, wow, according to this signal, you guys should be pretty close to the Omega 13. Nesmith says, what's that do anyway? Warren says, well, some people claim it releases enough antimatter to destroy the entire universe. Others, like myself, think it's a 13-second rewind for the entire universe. Ripley says, neither of those seem all that useful. Guy, Shaloub, and Milani reach the airlock, but the door won't open. It'll take a long time to fix, so Rockwell says, fine, you get to work on that, I'll create a distraction. Fred says, just because that's what your character on the show would do, doesn't mean you have to. Guy says, in this case, it does. I never had to fix the doors on the show, so I don't know how. You do. He's reminded that what he's about to do is suicide. So Guy says, yeah, you're right, forget I said anything. At which point, Alan Rickman and Willick push the clearly marked unlock button. Ripley and Buzz Lightyear find the corridors to the reactor room are booby-trapped. However, the least interesting man in the world spots the pattern, and that lets them sneak past. The bugs are pissed off, but Tony Shalhoub has a plan. He heads to the transmat platform and brings up the rock monster. Usually, bringing in another problem is a bad idea. But in this case, the rock monster squashes the bugs and shatters the hull. All their problems just drift away. Lolani is so impressed with what Monk just did that they start making out. At first, he doesn't notice the tentacles, and when he does, he doesn't exactly care. Guy is grossed out, and dude, don't kink shame him. I mean, if I came across my buddy making out with someone that I personally couldn't figure out why they thought they were attractive, I'd say nothing and not draw attention to it in any way. The Thermians are free and everybody celebrates. Even Alan Rickman and his little buddy. Well, at least until they realize there are still bugs on board. Too bad they don't realize that until after Quellic gets shot. In order to make sure that his friend can go to his grave in peace, Dane recites his character's catchphrase that he's grown to hate. By Grabthar's hammer you shall be avenged. One last time. Or maybe not, as he realizes that while he personally doesn't like Galaxy Quest, he should be proud of it because it's brought some good into the world. Gwen and Nesmith reach the Omega 13. Captain Pedantic says, I've got some tips for you on how to turn it on. They tell him, not right now, we've got to worry about shutting down the reactor. He says, yeah, that's the thing. Like I was saying at the convention, from episode to episode, it was never done the same way twice. They gulp, but then it doesn't matter because since they never blew the ship up on the show, the counter stops at 1. Our heroes retake the ship and can start heading home, assuming they can get to the artificial black hole they used to get there. But since Saris has made it back to his ship, he's not going to make that easy. Plus, they have to make it through the minefield. They're about halfway through when they realize this isn't going to solve anything. Saris can still follow them, plus the Thermians can't colonize a new world with him still out there. Nesmith asks, are these mines still magnetic? Mathesar says, yeah. Tim the Toolman Taylor grunts and says, then I might have a plan. They turn around and head for Saris. Bug Boy gives his big victory speech. Nesmith says, Which one of us is hauling enough mines to blow up a planet inside of a hyperspace bubble again? Sarah says, not me. Nesmith replies, yeah, that's what I thought. Malthazar wishes they would stay. Nesmith says, seems to me this ship already has a captain. Just follow our example and you've got this. Dane says Severus will be some kind of transmission right before his ship went boom.
Jess, we have an incoming transmission.
My name is Shmi Valent of the Hoskin Empire. Give me the Omega-3.
Get your own double fillet of fish. I'm in the middle of a review.
Transmission strength increasing by 3,000%. Holy poop on a stick! Jess is dead! How are we going to keep the show going now?
Get Donatello on the line. Yeah? Is that 3-minute rewind still working? Yeah? Punch it!
Gwen and Nesmith reach the Omega-13. Captain Pedantic says, I've got some tips for you on how to turn it on.
What are you doing? You'll thank me later.
Dane says Severus will be some kind of transmission right before his ship went boom.
Jess, we have an incoming transmission.
My name is Shmi Valent of the Hoskin Empire. Give me the Omega-3.
Get your own double fillet of fish. I'm in the middle of a review.
Transmission strength increasing by 3,000%.
Not another sketch trying to reference the movie. That is so 2021. Tony Shalhoub comes up to the bridge and shoots everyone. Man, and I thought Amazon workers were pissed off. No, wait, it was just Saris using an image inducer. Nesmith thinks, I wish I had realized that 10 seconds ago. Wait, if my nerd friend is right, I can. And he activates the Omega-13. Only this time when Shalhoub shows up, he beats the living shit out of him. The whole crew looks stunned until the image inducer fails. Because there's still some time left in the movie, there's one more problem. The ship can make it to Earth, but it can't slow down. The ship will have to separate in order to make the maneuver. They called the Nerd Brigade to launch fireworks so they have a safe and clear path. Somehow this works. Well, it does do major damage to the convention center, but it's still less destructive than the parties held by Jehovah's Witnesses the week before. Saris crawls out of the wreckage and threatens to kill everyone again. Nesmith grabs a blaster and vaporizes him. The crowd cheers. Wait, what is this? Jack and the Beanstalk? Oh, wait. The con-goers think the cast was late because they were up all night rehearsing this new finale to the convention. It is so awesome that all is forgiven. Nesmith kisses Gwen and that gets even more applause. Flash forward to the next year's GalaxyCon and their big announcement. After decades of fan letters and complaints, the studio realizes that maybe the audience that has been telling them they want more Galaxy Quest might want more Galaxy Quest. The new show would have a mix of the 4 main cast members from the original, plus a few new faces like Lolani and Guy. I assume that because they didn't add an Asian woman or a black stormtrooper, the show was a huge hit. And That's it. That's the movie. To those of you who think that my almost spiritual devotion to a certain franchise means I would hate this movie, guess what? I have the same feeling about it that most of my Christian friends have toward Monty Python's The Life of Brian. I absolutely love it. The casting is perfect. The script is hilarious. It's goofy without insulting your intelligence. Plus, it's full of little Easter eggs that laugh with the franchise, not at it. This movie is a love letter, and it's an absolute delight. Yes! And I did it!
No, you made Star Trek jokes in all 3 episodes.
No, I didn't. Nick, replay those logs. He even goes that extra mile to transmit a message of universal friendship. You know, like the one on the Voyager space probe. Great. Soon it'll come back and...
It looks like somebody wants to watch Daredevil.
She tells Dale, drink this. It's...
Green. You thought you could sneak that past me.
Or rather, writing her confession just in case she dies in the course of interrogation. Which means Planet Mongo isn't that much different than Chicago. No, wait, he's planning to do something with worms, which seems more like a...
Just no references to you-know-what.
What? I was gonna say a Baltimore thing. We get a good shot of the crowd and... Holy shit, is that...
Chief O'Brien?
Lieutenant Malloy's team starts losing. Skank goes to talk to his girlfriend to get some clarification on the whole team issue that had him so shocked. It turns out he's banging the mayor's wife. Lucky for him, the mayor seems unaware of it.
It reminds me of that time he didn't know he was a robot. What kind of idiot wouldn't know they were a computer simulation of a person?
But...
But it's like you said, I couldn't make any Star Trek references. If someone else did it, no harm, no foul.
You tricked us into doing it for you.
Yeah. Now you think of.
Hold on. I want to have to check the Observer Handbook for this scenario. Let's see. Tacking on Bizarre, mid-credit sequences, trapping an elf. Here it is. Trickery. Did you work this out with Nick beforehand?
Jess having forethought? Talk about science fiction.
Did he bribe you in any way?
With what? The $2 a month he makes from Patreon?
No, I just use simple knowledge of how you and Nick think.
Then yeah, you're right. 3 wishes.
Woohoo! Let's celebrate. We've got, carrots and, carrots?
You mean we had carrots?
Yeah, you're right. There's something missing. I wish I had some...
Jeff, no! Don't say it!
Yoo-hoo and ho-hos.
No problem.
Ah, damn it!
You're telling me these are cupcakes, not ho-hos. Seems to me like I still got 3 wishes.
I'm in training. Grr. I gotta go file my report. Ralph knows how to contact me if you need me. Oh, and Nick, I hear you're taking over GMing D&D next week. Do I need to bring anything?
Is everyone in that game now but me?
Apparently.
What's our next episode?
Dumbo,
The original or the Tim Burton version?
the cartoon.
Oh,
What did I say?
Xilo, my dear, can you explain what you're wearing on your feet?
Remember that fad of roller skates you snap onto your sneakers? Same idea, only with hover skates.
Hover skates?
I keep forgetting. The 4th dimension is a low magic zone. This should help. Just think happy thoughts. Here, let me show you. There. I've got you.
Right where I wanted to be.
If you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe, or leave a comment, or do anything else that will help us succeed more on the algorithm. And to really help see this channel grow, visit patreon.com/ParityErrorFilms and become a patron today.
Nurse Duck, you are not the mother. Mega Beetle, you are not the mother.
What did your boy do, soldier?